Hey, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and I'm looking back at the 7th Continent. I covered the 7th Citadel a while back when it was on Kickstarter, but this is the game that started it all. And after not playing it for over a year, I decided to look back. I'm doing a separate review video, you can check that out, and a bit of a playthrough. I'm not like Colin or Steve or Barrett. I don't love doing a long campaign series of games. And also, this is a game that's full of spoilers if you show too much. So I'm just going to do one playthrough starting out. One of the scenarios from the expansion with the hot air balloon. This is a prison of clouds. So I'm just going to show the first 30 to 45 minutes. We'll see how long I record and how long it is after I edit it. But just be aware there will again be some spoilers for the beginning of a Prison of Clouds. I've never played this one, so we'll explore it together. Maybe I'll just die right away. We'll see how it goes. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, please consider supporting us through Patreon for early access to our videos. You can also talk to us on Discord. We have a separate streaming channel and a weekly podcast. So I'm not going to do a full overview of rules because it's all pretty straightforward and you'll see how it works as we go. But in the 7th Continent, you start with one of these clue cards for the curse you're playing, which is kind of like the quest. You can have more than one, but we're just doing one. So let's read some flavor text. Norbert, stop feeding that damn bird. Those seeds might, save our skins one of these days. Sorry, Captain, but Jojoba seems awfully pale this morning. This bizarre exchange startles you from a deep sleep. You find yourself covered with a thin layer of snow and frozen to the bone. A black bird with a yellow beak is hopping about on the white ground, repeating the same phrases in impeccable English. Looking around, you wonder in disbelief at how and why you ended up here. So I guess the bird is the one saying those words about itself. Okay, and the card says to put out card 677 and put us on it. Curses are generally going to tell you where to start, and it says, you find yourself on a rocky plateau covered in a thick layer of snow. It must be 300 feet wide, with a precipice filled with thick fog beyond. The bitterly cold temperature, combined with the altitude, makes it quite difficult to breathe. By the way, always have a clue card on the back of the flavor text. This is Norbert, shoo it away and hide the seeds. Yes, Captain! This is a little card that says bird plus 13. If we have effects and cards that specifically interact with this scenario, then I'll add that value 13 and we'll find out things we wouldn't see otherwise. But here's our starting terrain card, and I'm playing as Anjika Patel, which is one of the characters from the expansion. She's got the power to trade stealth cards for aggressiveness cards, and then she has some of her own unique cards in the action deck we'll see as we go along. So she's here on our starting landscape card, and you'll see a bunch of icons and numbers. Basically, each of these white boxes represents an action we can take, and the icon indicates what type of action it is, which tends to interact with cards in your hand and items you've built, like things that might give you an advantage with observation or searching for something or traveling in the snow. And the blue number and the stars will make more sense when we get to our first action check, but in basic terms, the blue is how many cards you draw, and the stars is how many successes you need. And for these ones with the green number, if you succeed at the check, you get to draw that card and see what happens. So looking here, we seem to have a dead body over there in the snow. We've got a plant here, which only matters if we found something that tells us about that plant. We got something kind of buried in the snow here, and it does have our bird symbol, which means we can both draw the card 693, or we can choose to add the 13 to it and instead draw, what would that be, 706. Now over here we see a 704 and a little 5 in yellow, and that shows that we can travel in that direction, but you put a random exploration card matching the Roman numeral to basically give some variety game to game. So even though we can always travel to the same tile, 704, if we go to the right, we're going to have a different experience as we try to explore there each time. And this value is the cost to move away from this place, so once we explore there, we can go over. Not going to worry about that yet, though. So let's begin by exploring here. And again, we can get both cards 693 and the bird advantage 706. So let's start with just the basic 693. And it's a 0 blue, 0 star, which means you don't have to take an action check at all. So I'll explain how it works when we get to a real one. An imposing shape lies ahead in the snow. You struggle your way towards it and discover a hot air balloon in a sorry state. It must have had quite a rough crash landing. After several minutes of concerted effort, you manage to clear the snow from the contraption. So once we flip the card over, a lot of cards will have things like this, which shows that it attaches to the card next to it in the indicated direction. And we can interact with anything on this card as long as we're on the terrain card that it's attached to. So that hot air balloon isn't looking too great. The canvas is ripped, the motor is damaged, and the rigging is torn in several places. Getting this hot air balloon back in working order will be no easy feat. We've got a very grueling set of tests here we can take to try to dig that out of the snow. We have to take a tougher version of the test if we are frozen. And the white text is what happens if we succeed at a test. The black is if we fail. Again, when we try that, we'll show how that works. And this little symbol here, which can also appear on terrain cards, shows that we have a resource we can use to build items when we get them in our hand, which will happen from action checks. So here we have some rope or string we could use to fashion something. But let's go ahead and look at 706, our bird-enabled card. Man, this is definitely more reading than the average 7th continent scenario, I promise. The Mina bird suddenly starts moving restlessly if it's struck by a distant memory. It begins speaking quickly, changing its voice to create a peculiar dialogue. Let's recap, Norbert. Remember what you learned at the academy. In the event of any problems, be sure to iron out all the details. We should try the same thing with our balloon. This is no time for jokes, Norbert. Sorry, Captain, you're... right. Let's see, our ship was damaged and unable to continue its search for the Santa Gabriela. As a result, it dropped anchor off the coast and 3 teams, including ours, were dispatched on an airborne reconnaissance mission. That's when things got complicated. Not only were we unable to find their blasted vessel, but these impossible winds, which were quite unnatural for that matter, prevented us from returning to the ship. McCormick seems to have found a way out. However, we have little means of following him. His balloon is far more powerful and sturdy than ours. Whispering, and he's a far better pilot than you, Captain. And if that wasn't enough, there has been no word from Flantier's team. What do you suggest, Captain? I see no solution other than to explore this hostile territory in the hope of finding resources to increase the power of our hot air balloon and your piloting skills. Norbert, I would appreciate it if your bird stopped eavesdropping on our conversations. Alright, so I guess that's as much clue as we're going to get for what we need to do so far. We need to find things to make our balloon better. And then maybe we're either looking for their original ship or this Santa Gabriela they were searching for. And by the way, this icon in the corner shows this is a journal card, which means you store it underneath your satchel and journal card, which also shows your inventory and max hand size based on player count. Since I'm just playing a single here, which by the way is not my favorite way to play, I like playing two-handed, but I figured it would be easier to show a playthrough with just one. So it shows I can have 4 green cards, 5 blue cards in my hand, and up to 4 items, that's what these little black dice represent, that can be comboed up to 4 cards worth. All that'll make sense as we get into that stuff. But yeah, I keep this card about the balloon ride as a hint along with my bird card, so I can refer back to those to help me figure out what I should be doing at any time. All right, now what do I want to do? I could explore to the right. I could check out that dead body. I could try to dig out the hot air balloon. Let's see the body, because that's an easier test for me to explain how actions work. So the 1+ shows I need to draw at least a minimum of 1 card from the action deck, and the 1 star means to succeed I need at least 1 star. The action deck is this giant deck of cards. You've got a bunch of standard cards, and then each character you're playing with gives you another 5. And each card will often have either a whole star or a half star that you can combine to make a whole star, and you count all the stars you can see to see how many successes you got. But all the cards you flip to try to succeed are discarded, and if you go through your entire deck, then you start being in danger of dying unless you find food to restore the cards back into the draw pile. So basically, the more cards you use on test, the closer you are to losing the game. And again, it's 1+ here, so I could just draw 1, or I could draw more. I'm going to try 2. Seems like that's a pretty good chance of getting 1 star. No, that worked out great. These are curse cards. You have 4 generic ones, and then 1 for each quest you're actually doing. So those give you nothing, but the friction fire gave me 1 whole star all by itself, so I did succeed. And after you finish each test, you can take up to 1 card of those flipped and put it into your hand, which is represented by this little blue icon here. And remember, with 1 player, I can have up to 4 cards, or no, 5 cards in my hand. So yeah, I'll take that item and I'll discard the curse. And some cards in your hand give you mitigation on actions or even give you alternate actions to try. But the friction fire is an item, so I can craft it for 2 time using 2 cards, and I don't need any successes. It's just me basically spending time. But items will generally have a discount based on materials. Remember that string from the hot air balloon? So here, if I was on a terrain card with wood, I could make the friction fire for free. The die indicates how many uses the item starts with. So in this case, once I use this to make fire, it's gone. And then once I've built it, I can use it for its action. In this case, I could draw 1 or more cards, try to get 1 success to place fire on my terrain card. Fire can be very important mainly for cooking food you find to get cards back into your deck, so definitely a key thing. Not a bad card to start out with, although I'm probably going to wait until I have wood and some food before I try to make it. Alright, and with that action test being successful, I get to see card 718. Keeping a wary eye on the terrain, you walk for a long while through the snow before making a most macabre discovery. A corpse is sticking out of the snow in the strangest position. It is clear that an act of extreme violence led to this person's demise. Yuck, he's looking a little nasty. A character that is frightened and or terrified can neither take nor get involved in the following action. Involved means you could help out somebody else. Basically, 1 character is chosen as the active character each turn just being a single action. And any other characters who are on the same terrain can help them out. But with solo, you don't need to worry about that. So this is going to be attached on the top end of my terrain card, by the way. And by taking this action, wow, I need 2 successes. I can suppress a rising wave of disgust to rifle through the person's clothes and take a 746 card from the adventure deck. But if I fail, it looks like I'm going to get a little freaked out by my ordeal. Well, let's go ahead and try it. I guess I'll draw 3 cards to hopefully succeed. I know this worked out perfectly. Look, we've got half a star joined together there and another star. The 7, by the way, only applies if you have something that has a 7 in front of a star, which means every 7 becomes a star. So I've got 2, just what I needed. And keep one of these. A woven basket lets you hold more food. And I do have string from the hot air balloon, but I don't know if I need that without any food yet. Lucky Star is nice mitigation. I can take away 2 from the cost of an action and or give myself a 7, which again would need a 7 star to actually become a success. Or Knowledge's Power lets me get experience points to level up. I think I'm going to keep the Lucky Star out of those. So the other 2 get discarded. And I get this card from the corpse. You remove a carefully folded piece of paper from the pocket of the deceased and examine it closely. This looks maybe important for improving my engine. Technical manual. The document seems to have been taken from an airplane engine maintenance manual. It's filled with useful information for anyone with even the slightest understanding of mechanics. And look, definitely glad I did this. When you have a brown box, that means it is a modifier to a test that has that icon. So here for, I guess, like this digging icon or repairing icon, and then also for this, I don't know, lifting off or dropping down the balloon icon maybe. So here, just owning the technical manual would give me -1 draw or +1 success to these kind of tests. So like if I try to dig out the hot air balloon, now I'll only need 4 successes instead of 5. That's awesome. And this goes into my journal again. All right, so I could dig out the hot air balloon, but do I want to go to the east? The only thing I'm worried about is if my character becomes frozen by doing anything over there, then it could mess with me digging. So let's dig first. So, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I can draw 4 or more. I definitely want more than 4 to get 5 successes, although with the journal I found, now I only need 4 successes. Now, the rulebook helpfully has this little chart, so let's see. If I need 4 successes, I need to draw 5 or 6 cards to have a pretty good chance of succeeding. It's going to tire me out. Now, I am playing on a slightly easy mode where there are some nicer cards added to my deck because this game is hard enough, but still, I'm going to go for 6 cards to get 4 successes, see how we do. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3. That's awesome. Oh no, a curse. Okay, so I got 3. Ooh, these are the nice cards I was talking about. So that's 4, 5, 6. Yes, and actually 7. Wow, we got a little bit more than we needed. Geez, there's so many things. I could get the rope. Ooh, with the hot air balloon string, I could just get that immediately. A splint to help heal myself. I do have rope, but I don't really need that. Ooh, a bow to help me in combat or hunting. That seems pretty good too. Yeah, it's between the bow and the rope right now. And both of these nice cards I added have the same effect, just -3 from a cost, which is like great when you're traveling to save your energy. Or my character's unique card also uses rope, a net. This can make hunting or fighting much less expensive or give you mastery. This is new to the expansion. It means that if you do a test of this type, drawing 2 or fewer cards, after you do the test, you can put those cards back in the deck so it doesn't tire you out. You're so good at it. All right, here's what I'm thinking. It's between the bow and the net. But look, the net is an aggressiveness card, and remember my character's ability is to discard a stealth card to take an aggressiveness card from the discard pile. I'm talking about the little traits down here at the bottom. So I want to take the bow for now, and there's a reasonable chance I'll be able to get the net as well later. Oh no, although I hope this doesn't take away my string. It might, because this says take an 801 card from the adventure deck if available, and then assemble the balloon figure and put it into play on your terrain card. And this little green to gold means I'm getting rid of this card, 693, and replacing it with the gold version with the same number. It says the hot air balloon sits in the snow, ready for takeoff. Ah, and yes, my worst fear confirmed. The rope is gone. I guess I don't want to cut apart my own balloon. The basket can hold up to 4 people and offers welcome shelter from the wind, snow, and rain. Oh, nice. So it gives me like free stars while I'm here for a lot of stuff. And by the way, this replace card is banished. You got 2 key spots in the game where cards go as you play. Banished cards are gone forever, even if like you take multiple sessions or rest or those kind of things. But most cards just get discarded to the past, and they're out of play until you come back in a future session or like go to a new area, and then they populate back into the draw piles where you can get them later. But that means this is never going to be here because clearly I've fixed the hot air balloons, so it'll never show up again there. And by the way, it also said I got 801. You cannot help but smile as you gaze upon the flying machine, imagining the adventures that await you. Well, this is my first time playing with it, so I'm excited. Okay, this looks like it explains all the mechanics of the hot air balloon. Sorry to throw so much at you, everybody. Okay, if you are on the ground and there's a balloon figure on your terrain card, you may take the following action. So it takes 2 time. The red staircase means that everyone in the game needs to be there with me. So if there were like 3 or 4 players, we would all need to be together. I can't have like one player on the hot air balloon and nobody else with them. You turn the crank handle to propel the balloon and slowly begin to rise into the air. Okay, you write down the number of the terrain card where the balloon figure is, return all the cards on the board and in the past, put the white adventure card bearing the number you have just written down into play, place the balloon figure and the figure of each character taking part in the adventure on that card, and take a 700 card. So that's right. I noticed when I was putting away the expansion that they have a lot of white versions of cards. So I guess I'll have like a white replacement for this one that'll mean like the clouds and the sky above that location. So, all right, that goes into my journal just to remind me how it works. And here we go. We get to take the fun hot air balloon and put it on my terrain. You can actually put your characters in the little slots. Definitely cool. So I can certainly choose to just get the heck out of here, but should I explore real quick, see if there's anything else? I think maybe. All right, so I will flip this. Now, let's see. Repentance, a side quest. Somewhere on the continent, a lost soul waits for liberation. Okay, each time you reveal a card with the keyword Spectre, you may ignore its effects and apply the following effect instead. Each character getting involved in the following action may discard any number of cards with the keyword Will or Serenity from their hand and or inventory. For each card discarded this way, you get 1 star during the result step. So the red lock means you cannot draw more cards, so it's only 2 cards. So you would really need a bunch of Will and Serenity cards to discard to get to 5 stars. You manage to appease the Spectre's torments, and it vanishes in a flash of white light. Take 7/0/0/3 cards, those are experience cards, 7 is a lot, and banish this. Or the Spectre lets out an eerie shriek and then vanishes. Okay, so this is a side quest. It might never come up, but we can hold up to 4 green cards. They're just like helpful cards and companions and things. And if we get a 5th, we can get rid of this side quest, because I don't know if I'll ever do it. But the more important thing, I think, is that I successfully explored, so we can go to 704 and see what it is. This section of the plateau is scattered with pointed rocks jutting out of the snow. As you make your way, the strong gusts of wind require caution to avoid a fatal fall into a crevasse. And there we go. We see how the picture forms a complete whole. Very cool. Now, I'm not there yet. I've just explored. I would still need to take the action here to actually move over there. Looks like we can dig into the snow, and there's like a little, I don't know, passage to look at over there. And then I'll zoom in so you can see this, but they do have hidden numbers, so this means there's something hidden there. I have to be on the terrain card to find out what it is, though, and I draw card 560. All right, so in for a penny, in for a pound. Usually movement just costs blue cards. You don't need successes, but in this case, because I'm trudging through the snow, it's more arduous, so I got to draw 2 cards to get at least 1 success. And I did get 2 successes, and I can take a panpipe. Oh, or perfect, remember card. I can take 1 card from the discard pile and add it to my hand as a free action, basically. So I'm going to keep that one. That gets me over here, and there is some flint or stone here to craft with. By the way, just to kind of show you how things build up, I currently have 4 cards in my hand out of my max of 5. And I can use that remember card to get the net that I wanted, although without the string, it's not really as good. Well, never mind. It does have -1 for flint, so maybe I should use remember to get it and then build it while I'm here. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So let's do that real quick before we explore in the snow. So take the remember action. When it's in your hand, you can use white actions like this. It has no cost or anything. Choose 1 blue card in the discard pile, add it to your hand, discard this, basically replacing it. And then I'm going to do a test for my next turn to craft this. It would normally be 3 blue cards. We don't care about successes, but with the flint, it's -1, so I need to do 2. And I get another knowledge as power to give me experience, or a torch. I mean, I'm in the snow, right? So a torch seems probably better. And then this gets built, so it goes to my inventory, a separate spot for my hand. And per the value here, it starts with a 3 die on it, which means each time I use it to boost a hunt or fighting action, it will tick down. Once it's down to 0 uses, it just goes away. I've exhausted and ripped up my net. But back to snowy fun, let's find out what this 560 card is. As you slowly make your way across the plateau, you notice a dark shape contrasting with the white snow. Oh, in this case, it's actually replacing the first version of the terrain card with a new option. Now, the first one just gets discarded, not banished. I would have to find that card again. So there we go, something to look at for free. Yeah, let's do that, both of the free ones, before I try to dig in the cold, cold snow. So 683. You proceed until you reach the object you saw in the snow. It turns out to be a piece of metal that must have come from an airplane or some other flying machine. The object teeters on the edge of the precipice. What luck! Another couple of feet to the right, and you would have had to scramble down the side of the sheer cliff to reach it. Oh, awesome. I'm very glad I went in here. Oh, dang it. I should have gotten this before I dug out the balloon. Look, another free star in those kind of actions. Okay, what does it say? There's another journal one, so it'll hang out, not taking any space. Okay, if there is a gear card under the satchel and journal card, you may take the following action. Well, there's definitely not yet, but it looks like once there is, take a card whose number is equal to 683 plus the value of the gear card and then banish this. Oh, so I guess like if I find some more parts, I can repair the engine. And hey, this looks vaguely like it might fit in with this diagram in the technical manual. Not really, actually, but that's okay. So maybe I'm just supposed to fully repair the hot air balloon and then get off of the 7th continent with it. Maybe there is no worry about a boat or whatever. But okay, that goes in my satchel. All right, now we can observe up here or go digging. Let's do the free one first, 726. Fresh prints can be seen in the snow. Their shape is much like that of a human foot, but the enormous size and what looks like a 6th toe force you to abandon this idea. This seems like a terrible place to go. Are you going to follow the strange footprints, or should you choose the safer option? Character that's frightened or terrified can neither take nor get involved. Okay, like before. Okay, wow, so I could explore. That seems like a terrible idea. I don't want to get eaten by a Yeti or something. So yeah, let's not do that. I guess I could dig in the snow or just go back to the hot air balloon. Currently, my net is the only item I have that definitely won't help me dig. But sure, I mean, 2 cards should be enough for 1 success. Let's go for it. Oh, and yes, easily. Okay, I got 2 successes, and I could get some flint for fire. Ooh, and I can build it for free with where I am. So as good as this learning from your mistakes -3 time one is, I like the idea of being able to make fire when I need to. Now let's find what 713 holds. Well, interestingly, there were 2 copies of the card, so I randomized which one I got, and it looks like probably the good one. You'll uncover a wooden chest with one of its sides smashed in. So if I can do this unlock action, I can finish smashing open the chest. I'll get an experience card, a 003, and a 350. I seem to remember that being like random, nice, useful items. So it seems like a good thing to do. But first, with me having flint on my space, let's go ahead and build the rudimentary flint for free. And now here's a cool little thing that says aggressiveness. And my net also has the aggressiveness keyword as well as the skill keyword. So what that means is you can combine the items. Now you can always combine items when you build them, and in solo you can have up to 4 items in the same column. But only if the new item matches a keyword on the original item, the topmost one, do you get to add the uses. So now I will have 4 uses on this stack. And those combos are best when the items have multiple bonuses for the same type of action. Like if you put a bunch of weapons together, you can use all of them with a single use on 1 attack check. But it's still useful here because if I decide I never want to use the flint, I can use the net 4 times instead of 3. So there's no real cost, and I'm saving myself more inventory spots because I can only have 4 columns in solo of items overall. All right, and now let's try to break this thing open. And by the way, this is the mastery symbol again, so if I had some way to decrease the cost of this from 2 to 1, then I would get to return the card I drew back to the deck. But I have no items that'll help with unlocking, nothing that'll bring a skill check down by a single point. So let's just draw the minimum 2, and oh no! All right, so that's a bummer. I still get to add 1 of them to my hand. I guess it'll be learned by doing for -3 to an action, but I definitely did not succeed here. Now, luckily, no negative effect. It just says it's more intact than you were expecting, so I don't get any penalty besides having wasted 2 cards, of course. So let's go ahead and try again. Oh my gosh. Oh man, a club and a really good card. I want the club. Now, it does put me to 6 cards in my hand, so I'll have to get rid of one of them in a second, but first I get an experience card and a 350. What was inside the chest? Ooh, a pistol with 5 shots? A revolver that's almost out of ammunition. Oh my gosh. 4 stars for a shooting test. I could just shoot another box open, or hunting, or fighting. Oh, but if you want to apply the following effect, you must discard 1 card with the keyword ammunition. Ah, so that must be this. Take up to 2 357 cards from the adventure deck if available. Ah, so I've actually only got 2 bullets, not 5. That's sad. Oh, but the reason this has a 5 value is because it has the aggressiveness and vigilance traits. So basically, it'll break after 5 shots if I manage to find more bullets in some way. I could combine it with my net, but the max of any item column is 6. So with the net already being at 5, I would basically waste a bunch of things by putting it there. Although, if I expect never to find any more bullets, which I absolutely 100% do, I think I will never get another bullet in the game, so I am going to combine them. So this will dead end at 6. But now if I do a fight or hunt, I can combine the net and the gun when things are really nasty to help me out. I guess that's the right call. Well, actually, nah, never mind. Let's keep them separate. I still have 3 more columns I can do stuff with, right? And I did just get a club that's also an aggressiveness card. I can combine that with the net or with the pistol. Oh my gosh, that would be so much attack power. But speaking of, I got too many cards. Well, I just got something that gives me fire, right? I've got my flint, so I can discard my friction fire. And then I like to clear out my hand. I've got to learn by doing that's -3 to attack, so I could build the club for free or the bow for free. And I think I'm leaning toward the bow, because that's a will keyword, which I don't have anything of, whereas the club, like once I use my net once, I could graft the club onto it to bring it back up to 6 uses and have an awesome weapon. So yeah, I'm going to use learn by doing to construct the bow for free, even though I have no wood and no string. Awesome. So that brings me back down to 3 cards, so I have some space for future actions. And I'm pretty loaded for bear. I got a pistol, a net with some flint attached to it, and a bow ready to go, man. And by the way, I didn't show the 003 card. They have all this flavor text about the things you learned the last time you were on the 7th continent. But it doesn't really matter. All you care about is that it's 1 experience point. If you get a certain event or action, you can basically spend your experience points to level up and get better action cards added to your deck or hand. And by the way, the crate says to banish this, so nothing more I can find in there. So, all right, I think I've exhausted everything I can do on this little mountaintop. Definitely don't want to go see the Yeti. So I got to do one or more to get one success to travel back that way. And I think just to be more sure, I'll spend 2 cards. Oh, never mind. They all worked. Another fire making kit. Don't need that. But on the Hunt is one of Anjika's unique cards. And it gives me access to a unique action. If footprints can be seen on your terrain card, which usually means there are animals to hunt nearby, you can take the following action. It's a stealth check, a pretty tough one. But if I succeed, I take a 150 or a 250 card. Those are like the animals you hunt. Oh, and if it's empty-handed or a predator, it goes back as though I had not revealed it. So basically, I can hunt safely for an animal potentially, although it seems really expensive unless I get some bonuses to stealth. But yeah, Anjika's sort of theme is being better at hunting than most characters, so that's still cool to have. Oh, and it is a stealth card, so if I don't even like that, I could trade it in for an aggressiveness card from the discard pile. But we get over here, and what you've been waiting for, let's jump in that little thing. Can I even get her out of there again? I guess we'll find out. Where is she? The shadows. There she is. And let's take to the sky and see how that works. Just to remind you, I have to spend at least 2 cards, and then I'm going to fly up and take a random 700 white card. We'll see what those are. Since my hand is, again, pretty full, I'm going to go use my lucky star to make it a free action to lift up. So every card on the board and in the past gets returned, which means I put it back in its starting spot. So like if I wanted to come back here, I could see these cards again, but for now they're all gone. And instead, here we go, our first cloud adventure. The peak of a snowy mountain pierces through the sea of clouds. You might be able to land there in order to get some much-needed rest. While you consider your options, you try your best to shelter from the icy wind by crouching down in the basket. Oh, okay, that's cool. It shows me like a little glimpse of what I might see down there. Once you know the 7th continent better, that can be helpful. All right, we've got north and south to go to with some new stuff. We can land, it looks like, with some difficulty. And ooh, movement is question marks. That's right, I saw the rules about this. I'll show you how it works. But first it says I take a 700 card, which is going to be the weather while I'm up here in the clouds, and that'll determine how tough it is to move in different directions. The continent grows smaller and smaller as you rise into the sky. How exhilarating yet terrifying it is to rely on this contraption and the whims of the wind in hope of one day finding your way home. And so let's see, a strong north wind blows and you do your best to stay on your original course. Okay, you may not save the game as long as this is in play and you're in the air, so we have to land to stop. So here's the key thing. Based on the wind, it is more or less expensive to go in different directions. So because the wind's blowing from the north, if I try to travel north, I need to get a ton of successes. But to go south, I have to use 2 cards, but no matter how many successes I get, I will go fine. Oh, and if I fail trying to move in any direction except south, I'll just go south anyway. Hilarious. All right, so let's get our little exploration cards. And yeah, definitely going to go to the south. Why fight against the wind when I don't have no idea where I'm going anyway? Oh, geez, the wind changes suddenly. Is this good or bad news? You may return the weather card that is in play and then take a 700 card. You may. Okay, each player that is happy with this change may choose 1 card with the keyword surrounding the discard pile and add it to their hand. Each character that is not happy with this change may choose 1 card with the keyword aggressiveness and add it to their hand. Well, even though it would be nice to get a free card, I don't want to change the weather. Right now, it's fine. So let's just get rid of that and find out what 729 is. The thick layer of cloud cover makes it impossible to ascertain what might be underneath. You are tempted to descend a bit to see what lies below, but the risk might be too great. All right, see, I was going to say, I assume that you can't land everywhere because places are going to correspond to actual locations in the 7th continent. Oh, it looks like there's like some peaks peeking up. I have explored the island quite a bit, but that was back when I was playing the game a bunch more than a year ago, so my memory is a little shaky. So here we go, some more exploration. And let's go ahead and follow the wind and spend 2 effort to go south. And I get, oh, another unique character for me. Or forewarned is forearmed. Oh, this is a great one. It gives you 1 star after you see the results of a test. What does this one do? The following effect applies as long as you have this in your hand. For hunting and snow walking or music tests, during the results step, you may choose 1 card you just revealed and shuffle it back into the action deck as if you had not revealed it, and then you may choose to draw a replacement card to add the successes. Oh, that's pretty dang good, especially for hunting, since I'll need to hunt soon. Yeah, I think it's cooler to have a unique thing. Although, I mean, is this really going to help more than just a free success? Nah, I don't think it is. Never mind. I'm going to put this back. All right, and so lucky for me, with the wind going west or south is pretty easy, so maybe we'll explore both our options. Let's look west first. Invisible barrier. Powerful gusts slow the balloon down. Maybe the weather conditions will be better at a lower altitude. Okay, so I can take a very expensive action to lower the balloon down. The balloon loses altitude and the wind seems calmer, allowing you to continue your journey. That'll get rid of this. Now, because it's not a red bordered test, I don't have to do this immediately. It's a choice I can make to get this out of the way. Or, oh my gosh, the balloon loses altitude, but far too much and far too quickly. Something's not right. I don't want to draw a crash card. And by the way, nice little bonus. My technical manual will give me a free star for that kind of test, so it would be easier. But yeah, that seems a little bit iffy. Let's check the south. And I didn't say, but these are free actions to explore next to you generally, and because the arrow is pointing up, then you can do them from your own terrain card. That's why you can do this to flip. A seabird lands on the edge of the basket for a brief rest before flying away again. You could swear you've seen it somewhere before. Okay, only the active player is forced to take the following action. We can draw as many cards as we want. The red means we're forced to take it. If we get 4 stars, we get a 0/0/1, which is food. So we get each of the puffin. And if we draw 3 cards or less, we can put it back in the deck. That's the mastery symbol. Okay, or the puffin flies away, leaving your empty stomach rumbling. Each involved character must either discard 1 card with the keyword will from their hand or inventory, or take a 1/6 card. I guess we'll feel hungry. Now, this is a hunting test, so I have a lot of ways to get bonuses. I mean, I could just laugh at their challenge and shoot the puffin with my pistol, but that seems like a colossal waste. The bow would be a little bit better. I could get a free star, and then each 7 becomes a star as well. And again, it's because it has the bullseye hunting icon. Using my net sadly wouldn't help at all, because I don't want to draw fewer cards, and it already gives me 3 mastery as an option, so 2 mastery doesn't really matter. So yeah, I'd rather not feel hungry. Let's go ahead and use the bow, so I'll have +1, maybe more stars. But I have to get to 4. If I only draw 3, I'll get the bonus, but 3 might not succeed. Although I've got 1 success already, and then 4 warned as 4 armed can give me another one. So yeah, let's only draw 3 and keep all the cards. That seems awesome. Okay, let's see. Oh, I got a curse. That's not great. Ooh, but that is amazing. That's 3 stars plus the 1 for my bow. 4, just what I needed. And I don't need a fire card. So yeah, let's get a blowpipe to give you even more hunting bonuses if I need them. Although actually I already have a lot of hunting things. Remember, with the mastery, I can shuffle any cards of these I want back into the deck. So I'm going to shuffle both of these back in since they have a lot of stars. I'm not going to shuffle the curse back in because I don't need a 0-star card just hanging out waiting for me. And bye-bye, Puffin. I get a meat card. Sorry, buddy. So here's what meat looks like. So appetizing. And this is a standard one. There are a few like random ones in the deck. But as a free eating action, I can take 3 cards or 6 if I have fire from my discard pile. They're all better with fire. And shuffle them back into my action deck. So that's the main way you heal and stave off death. And this is an item with the food and stamina keywords. All food has those same keywords, so you can stack them together. So the bad part about this is that I am full up for items. Now I can stack them. And actually, I could even just like put the meat underneath the pistol, because it won't add its 1 to the pistol since they're different types. But again, unless I get a ton of bullets, I don't care. So yeah, you know what? It's a little silly, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it keeps the 5 dice, but this is only 1 use, and that's only double use, so 5 is still more than we need. All right, what now? Odd, kite-shaped objects float strangely in the wind. The sea of clouds under the basket is so thick it almost seems solid. What, are there actually kites? Why are there kites? All right, and lots of ways to go. So yeah, let's ignore the invisible barrier and head on down. So same as before, that's a 2, needing 0 successes. I am loving that these cards are gone. Because that would have been a horrific test if I was trying to do anything useful. All right, so here we go. And west is easier to travel to than east. So let's try to find somewhere to land that isn't on top of a mountain. Oh no, I hate these. I'm the worst at these. An ENE flying net. Take a 685 card. By the way, I say these because they have something similar on the ground. I'm not sure if this will work the same, but I'm kind of guessing. You catch sight of what looks like a collection of huge kites flying close by. Oh, that's weird. They kind of randomly showed up because this is like not tied to this location. It's just a random card. As you get closer, you realize they are dragging a gigantic net, and you are the fish about to be caught in their trap. To free the balloon from the net, you have to choose either the rope with the moon or the flower ring, and cut the one that will get rid of the most ropes. Yeah, so these are things we have to like look really carefully at these. Feel free to pause the video and see if you can figure out what would be the best. I'm going to look at this really closely and solve it myself. Pretty sure it's the flower ring. Well, let's see. E-N-E, right? Yeah, E-N-E. You should have cut the rope with the flower ring. Yay, you found the correct answer. Take 2 experience cards. Otherwise, you struggle to free yourself from the net. Okay, then this gets returned, the guide gets returned, and that gets discarded. All right, let's see if a real place awaits me. Nimbus and cumulonimbus clouds seem to endlessly appear one after another, making it impossible to see anything below. Dang it, still no land. And again, even though I've seen a lot of the 7th continent, that mountaintop was not connected to anything, so I have no idea where the heck I am. All right, before I go west, let's just check the east real quick. Hopefully it's nothing terrible. Dead calm. The weather conditions are particularly mild. You are hoping this is not simply the calm before the storm. If the storm weather card is not in play, one character may choose 1 card with the keyword Serenity or Stamina in the discard pile and add it to your hand, or shuffle it back into the action deck. That's cool. Okay, if the storm weather card is in play, we won't worry about that because it's not. Oh, and return this. This one actually goes back. Interesting. And my hand's already almost full. I've got 4 cards, so I found the Serenity Stamina one. That's one of the bonus ones that makes the game easier. Tons of stars, -3 when I put it in my hand. I'm going to shuffle it back into the action deck. All right, a break in the clouds reveals an arid, craggy setting that hardly seems worth exploring. Scattered greenish pools give off fumes that may well be toxic. You should be able to land without much difficulty, but do you really want to? Oh man, I think I've been there before. I think I know where that is. It is a landing. Maybe I should go there? Although, you know what I'm thinking? Is a bit of a spoiler, but there's like an initial island the first time you play that has some parts you might use, and I feel like they have that symbol, so maybe I want to get back to the original island. But if this is where I think it is, I kind of have my bearings. I think the original island is to the west and south. And honestly, until I get hungry, it feels like traveling by air is way easier than traveling by ground and dealing with everything. So let's go a little bit farther. Okay, so going west is 2 or more cards, and I need 1 success. Well, that should be easy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's do another forewarned west. So I've got 2 free successes in my hand. Unfortunately, that means my hand is full, so I'm not going to be able to put anything else in it for a while. All right, I'm not going up towards the invisible barrier, so let's see. Headwind. A powerful headwind begins to blow. Fortunately, it's exactly what you need to navigate more easily through the sky, as long as you don't mind changing course. So I just have to get rid of this for 3 if I want to go south? Headwind, you are annoying. And I have no cards to cancel that, so okay, I'll just spend 3. Terrible. Got a blowpipe again. Bolas, a 1-use super weapon, or snowshoes. I feel like I'm going south, so I won't need snowshoes. I guess the blowpipe is probably the most useful of these. And I think I'm going to get rid of my torch to make room, because that seems less useful again now that I've left the frozen north. All right, so that's con. Wait, this is not a white card. Nothing could have prepared you for such a sight. Thousands of birds like white crows fly in whirling patterns and screech horribly. You prefer not to think of what would happen if they took a sudden disliking to you. Ah, man, what is going on? The reality is hard to accept. It would be impossible to get through this wall of feathers, beaks, and talons without first distracting these fearsome birds. Okay, in order to take the following action, you must discard either 3 meat crustacean cards, I only have 1, 2 fish or mollusk cards, or 1 goat card. Dang it. Wow. Well, that did not work out the way I wanted. So I guess we're going to have to head right. Now that headwind card would have been amazing. Okay, 2 cards, 2 successes. I might die up here. All right, so 2 cards. Oh, I did get 2 successes. Okay. And I don't need more traps. Ooh, choose 1 card in the discard pile, add it to your hand, and discard this. Yeah, I'm going to keep that. And I'm so full up for hunting. Let me get rid of the blowpipe. Does get me to here. And we'll do it again, heading right. Okay, camouflage outfit would actually be great for her little on the hunt ability. But I already have a lot of ways to hunt. I think I'd rather have learned from your mistakes. And I'll get rid of on the hunt to make room for it. Here we go, ready to land. And by the way, besides the club that I'll probably never build, I've got 2 free successes. I've got a -3 time. I've got to remember they can get me something else. Probably need some of these to land successfully. All right, so what is it? 2 or more cards, and I need 4 successes. And I can use my technical manual to get 1 free success. So 3 successes with the bonuses I have. I'm actually just going to draw 3 cards and see how it goes. Holy crud! Wow. When a walking stick is a great one to save me time. Look, -2 to the cost of regular walking, although not in the snow. Definitely going to keep that. So let's get rid of the club. How much fighting do I need? All right, and I am landing a 701. We got 2 of them. I'm guessing one of them is worse than another. That seems like maybe the good one. The continent is getting closer by the second. In another minute or 2, you'll be back on solid ground. Okay, I write down where I am. There's all the stuff that it already said, right? Yeah, so I return everything. The weather card goes back, and I get the green version of this card. Oh, there is a bird card under the satchel. Take the card whose number is equal to the number you've just written down, plus 650, plus the bird from the adventure deck. That is a high number. 326 plus 650, that's 976. Plus the bird is 13, so 989. And it is there. Okay, the minor bird suddenly starts moving restlessly if it's in the grip of dark memories. It begins speaking quickly, changing its voice to create a peculiar dialogue. I guess I'm going to get hints each time I land somewhere. Captain, the gas burner is broken and the balloon's canvas has several small tears in it. I think they had to crash land. Damnation, I hope Flantier and his co-pilot made it out alive. Me too, Captain, but something isn't right. Look at the basket. It's an arrowhead. Exactly, someone attacked them. Sure, there must be people in these lands. We need to be more careful than ever and keep the rifle loaded at all times. Right away, Captain, look out! There's something near that rock. You frightened the life out of me, Norbert. It's just some field mice. Shoo, off you go. Wait a minute. They were nibbling a bit of paper trapped under that rock, near those little branches arranged in an arrow shape. They're alive, Norbert. Quick, what does the note say, Captain? They must still be nearby. Good heavens, we've lost Flantier. They were attacked by savages in the swamps and he was taken. His co-pilot was able to take off at the very last moment and he crashed here. The next part is illegible, but it looks like he tried to climb down these cliffs and swim back to the ship. What madness. Let me see. Captain, oh my word, he must have been terrified to consider such an option. It would have been suicide. What should we do, sir? I don't know, Norbert. I just don't know. Okay, immediately after this is revealed, for each balloon ride card under the satchel and journal card, randomly take 2 cards from a discard pile and shuffle them back into the action deck. Oh, cool. So as I solve the mystery, I get cards back. Now, I don't think it counts itself, but I do have the initial ones. That means I get 2 random cards back into the deck. And I need them because I'm nearly dead. All right, I guess, I don't know if I can rescue these people. They're all probably dead long ago, right? So it's kind of like fun stories to hear. And here's where I'm landing. The path gets increasingly steep and rough. The ground is covered with uneven stones that make your every step quite precarious. Where in the heck is this? I've been in swampy places with gases, so I think this is farther south than when I was in the swamps last time. So the balloon will hang out for me here, and then I guess I can go off exploring. But honestly, all I want at the moment is some food. There's a place to search over here, but I don't see any footprints, so I'm guessing that's something to do with the gases, not with some actual food. Yeah, so I think south is where I want to go. I got some flint, which does not match my walking stick. But, I'm going to make it anyway so I can save myself some energy because I'm so low right now. So -3 makes it free. Here's a tough choice. I can use up my last spot, or I can attach it to the bow, but I will lose 1 use. Okay, because they're both will, so it'll go up to 6, but I'll have wasted 1 because I'll have 4 plus 3 is 7. But still think that's probably the right call. So I can either hunt or I can walk with that thing. That frees up some space in my inventory as I explore. Toxic stench. Putrid fumes are carried by the wind. Okay, immediately after this is revealed, that means that I have to discard cards for every red card in my hand. You always have 1 just for your character card, but if I'm hurt or bloody or have other things going on, I can have more. So here it's just 1 card, not too big of a deal. Okay, but now I have to do one of these. I can either do 0 or 6 if I'm blinded, I'm not, to steer clear of the foul-smelling puddles that seem to be the source of these toxic fumes, or I'd return it. So basically I can get this card out of the deck entirely. Although either way I'll be able to explore and hopefully get out of the swamps, so I'm not going to spend any cards. I'm just going to fail it on purpose. So it goes right back to the deck and I might draw it again later, but I think I can keep exploring. Let's see, a steep cliff towers over the ocean. Years of erosion have worn the rock down in places, but its dizzyingly high face remains quite impressive. Oh, it's a way to climb down, but I think I'm on the wrong side of the island. I think I'm on the east end? If I want to get back to the starting island, I need to go back to the west, although, oh my gosh. I guess I could just jump back in the hot air balloon, but I need some food. All right, so either way in this test, if I fail it, it's a very tough climbing test. I would fall down there, but it seems like a terrible place to go. So let's actually look to the north, because I think to get around to the west, I got to go north potentially, see if anything bad happens here. Goosebumps. You hear a series of horrendous screams in the distance. Okay, all the actors must get involved in the following action. 1 card, 1 success. Well, I've got my cards to give me a free success if I fail, but no, I'm fine. Awesome, I'll keep that. Okay, one of all characters may choose 1 card with the keyword will in the action deck or the discard pile and add it to their hand. This is not even a question. I'm going to get another -3 card because I just need to survive. The action deck's getting so low until I can find some food. Okay, so this is gone. All right, the slope gets increasingly steep, yet the landscape remains drear and you see no sign of animal life. That's not what I wanted to hear. Oh, there's wood there. That would have been free to build my walking stick. Yeah, it's like the worst place to be, man. Ooh, there's a hidden card there, 182. Okay. My terrain has a 2 cost. I'm going to use 1 use of my walking stick bow combo to go ahead and get here for free. Let's see what this 182 is. Walking through the area, notice a patch of dirt that seems to have been turned over. That's not an animal, but it's something. Okay, I can dig. Great. I don't really have time to be curious. Let's just see what's north. What? Toxic stench again? Dag it. Okay, so I have to discard another card for my 1 red. But then, yeah, let's put it back again, although clearly it's going to keep coming. If I was hurt more, it'd be more of a threat. A stony track slopes up toward the south. These desolate, barren lands only allow a few sparse shrubs to grow here and seem very unlikely to provide you with any kind of solace. Why am I in oh, yes, I've been here. I know exactly where I am now, and it's really far from where I need to be. And there's definitely no animals for several tiles. You know what? Oh my gosh, I've only got 8 cards left in the deck. And what happens is once you've gone through the deck, you turn the discard pile face down and shuffle it. And for every test, you draw cards like normal and get successes like normal. But if even a single curse card is drawn, remember there's 5 with how I'm playing currently. If 1 curse card is drawn or more in those random cards, then you die. So do I have time to go back to the hot air balloon? Well, let's use 3 to go here. And then how do I lift off? It's a 2 test. Nope, we'll make it free. So all this stuff goes away again, but the nice thing is we'll do all new cards for the stuff blocking my way, so hopefully those birds won't be... Oh no, that's right, the birds were there permanently. No! All right, well, you know what? Well, I think of what to do as I probably pass away of exhaustion and hunger. We'll leave the playthrough there. It seems like probably what I'd have to do is like go all the way around into the swamp to where I know some animals are, hunt a whole bunch, eat some of them to feed myself, and bring the rest to feed the birds to get further south. Because I imagine I have to bring the hot air balloon with me, right? This is a hot air balloon based mission. If I just like leave it in the swamp forever, probably not going to win the game that way. But thanks for watching, everybody. Hope this was fun to get a little taste. Again, not too many spoilers. I didn't really get too far. And check out my separate review video if you want to hear what I think of this one. And definitely looking forward to, whenever they're done, 7th Citadel and playing that again. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.